Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This one comes from Pinchy. Hi, John and crew. James Gunn tweeted that he has a 8 to 10 year slate ready for his new DCU and will announce it sometime this month. My question is, where do you think James will announce this? Thanks and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, listen, we've known for a long time that, of course, James Gunn, Peter Safran, we've been hearing the 8, 9, 10-year roadmap plan that James Gunn and Peter Safran have been putting together. And they hinted late last year that we would be getting some actual details come the beginning of the year. And that's where we're at right now. We're in the beginning of the year. So are we actually going to start getting some details? And by details, I don't mean things they're not going to do, because we've been getting some idea about the things they're not going to do. For example, they're not going to be doing the existing Superman that we've had. Still breaks my heart, but I understand why, and I appreciate that bigger picture. I get it. And all that kind of stuff. But when and where? Well, apparently James Gunn has just let us all know that we are about to, this month, in the next couple of weeks, we are going to get the first piece of the picture about what the actual DC roadmap is. Now, this came to us in a tweet from James Gunn where, a user wrote to James Gunn asking, can you discuss at all the report from Variety in regards to Ezra Miller, the notion that your slate is only 3 years worth of projects? To which James Gunn responds, I don't know what's out there about Ezra, but our slate is 8 to 10 years. And he says, but we'll only be announcing some of it this month. This month. Let me touch on the Ezra thing for a second. Mm-hmm. I have been telling you guys for 6 months to a year, they're not going to say anything about Ezra at this point. They are going to wait until after the Flash movie comes out before they confirm that Ezra is not going to be Flash anymore. Pay no attention to that report that went out yesterday. It's meaningless. But it will not be. They're not going to come out and make an issue out of it and say, Ezra's done now before the Ezra Miller movie comes out. Yeah. They're going to wait till that passes, then they'll make those announcements. So that's why James Gunn is being mum on that. But it says we are going to announce part of it this month. All right. So we've got this DC slate announcement coming. It could be any day. It could be later today. For all I know, James Gunn is on Twitter as we speak, tweeting out. But it's going to be sometime in the next couple of weeks, maybe in the next couple of days, maybe in the next couple of hours, that we're going to get our first announcement about what is coming in the upcoming DC slate. So it begs the question, what should we expect? And so, Chris, before I go over to you and get your kind of, put on the old wizard hat and try to look into the future, into your crystal ball, I'm going to tell you what I think we can expect. The first one is the most obvious one. This is the one that I think everybody would agree on. Part of this first announcement is going to be Superman. We've already had the news break that James Gunn has probably written a new Superman script. They have their new iteration of Superman. They're going to be making some announcements, I think, Superman. I think, and in a little bit of a broader sense, when we get this announcement of the DC lineup, what I think we are going to see is that they are laying the foundation of what this new DC universe will be on in the movie theaters. And I think it's going to build on the foundation of the traditional DC. And what I mean by building on the foundation of the traditional DC, I mean Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Now, I know there have been reports out there that saying that Wonder Woman isn't part of their plans. I don't believe that for a second, and James Gunn already kind of shot that down. Now, listen, you may say, but John, James Gunn is the guy who does the wacky choices. James Gunn's the guy who does Polka Dot Man and Peacemaker of all things. I mean, he's that guy. I understand he is. But James Gunn is the guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy and Rocket Raccoon and Polka Dot Man in already foundationed and built cinematic universes. And when you have your foundations laid and you're already got the main base of your construct put together, that's when you can start pulling in some of the more wacky choices. And I think what we are going to see, and we're going to hear it in that initial announcement, I think that foundation is going to be laid with the traditional DC. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, maybe throw in there one or two others as well. Green Lantern is certainly considered kind of a core DC character now.
But which one?
But which Green Lantern? Indeed, there's a lot of them they can go with. Would it be wild if they went kind of like a little bit out there and did like a Guy Gardner?
That'd be fun. Just straight out the gate, they go Kilowog.
Because
That's what we're gonna do.
Because I think everybody thinks it's either going to be John Stewart or it's going to be
Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's assuming that. But what if they went a little bit outside? Maybe a Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
Maybe stuff like that. But whatever. So you can include a Cyborg, a Wonder Woman, maybe an Aquaman to be a part of that as well. But I think it's going to be number one is going to be Superman. I think that's what they're going to come out with. James Gunn has already kind of suggested online that Superman and Batman are kind of be very, very pivotal to the entire thing moving forward. And you need to be. And I get it. There are going to be some people, and I understand this, and going, oh, Superman again, Batman again. There's a reason why they're Superman and Batman. Nobody is stupid enough to argue that these are the two most popular and valuable DC IPs there are, right? No one's going to argue that. So to not do it would be like if you're an 80s Chicago Bulls and saying, you know what? We're not going to play Michael Jordan today. We see Michael Jordan every game. Why put because he's the foundation. He's the cornerstone. That's why. So yeah, I think we're going to see some very traditional announcements here with this coming out in the next couple of days or weeks. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. Guys, you know, me and my wife, Ann, are both working professionals, and so sometimes coordinating dinner time can be a real pain. But with HelloFresh, it makes dinner time fun, easy, and nutritious. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Now, guys, we've all got New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals, and HelloFresh is here to help you achieve them. Skip the grocery store and take control of your time and budget with delicious recipes delivered right to your door. With HelloFresh, you get fast and fresh recipes. HelloFresh's latest line of meals featuring robust flavors and filling portions are ready in less than 15 minutes. Enjoy taste and quality done quick with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes with béarnaise sauce, or Southwest pork and bean burritos. So guys, go to HelloFresh.com/Campea21 and use the promo code Campea21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Campea21 and use the promo code Campea21. Anyway, Chris, we see James Gunn saying we're going to start to reveal the 8 to 10 year plan this month. The announcement's coming. What are you expecting? What should people expect to hear?
I think, like we were saying, we're laying the foundation first. If you go see a concert, you expect to get some greatest hits as well as the B-sides, right?
Right.
And we know James Gunn delivers on B-sides. Look at all of Guardians, look at Polka Dot Man, all of that. But you have to have those pillars in place. If you look even to the animated world of DC, you know, we had Justice League, and then we went to Justice League Unlimited, where we introduced so many more of the pantheon of heroes that we had. And a lot of people didn't know about, you know, The Question maybe, or some of these other folks, Tigress, or, Huntress, those kinds of characters. They didn't know about them. And then they got to experience them through that after we had our core founding members of the Justice League. So I think that's what you got to look for is you have that. And then by having those kind of like tentpole characters, you can introduce the wackier, zanier folks. You know, I know people were joking on Weekly Hero, but someone was like, oh, what if they led with Plastic Man? This is a world in which we will get a Plastic Man movie or show. I am so sure of it. And if it is not done with Gail Simone's blessing and preferably with Ben Schwartz, I will be heartbroken. But, you know, I think we can expect to have a lot of the wackiness thrown in later. We're probably going to see Lobo down the line because of how Jason Momoa seems so hyped about this transition and is already, you know, posturing for that role. So we know we are going to see some really, really fun, cool, bizarre and bizarro kind of characters, but we have to have the tentpole characters go up first so that your average movie-going audience is also excited about this. And then us comic book fans can get excited about these characters being done well and being given the justice they deserve, because I think we can all agree DC has some of, if not the best IP, and it has not been executed well at all. It deserves a much better cinematic universe. Its rogues gallery alone, far superior than Marvel's in most cases. So I think you can do something really, really cool, and you've got really big comic book fans behind this. So just let that foundation settle, and then we can get to the weird stuff.
You know, I'm so glad you brought up Plastic Man.
I love him.
Because when people think of Plastic Man, They just think of a silly. They may maybe think the way Elongated Man was portrayed in CW's Flash. So this silly, and certainly not. Look, Jim Carrey, born to play anything. Jim Carrey was probably born to play Plastic Man, but they just think of that nature of him, right? But I want to point something out about Plastic Man and why he's such a cool character. What was the name? I keep forgetting. So maybe the most important graphic novel of all time, The Dark Knight Returns. What was the sequel called again? He did the follow-up, and it takes place I can't remember the guys in the live chat. What was the name of the sequel to
The Dark Knight Strikes Again?
The Dark Knight, was that the name? I can't remember. I think maybe it was The Dark Knight Strikes Again. But in that one, I remember they pull everybody together. And Batman pulls a bunch of people together, and Plastic Man is being held in this government facility, and they go to release Plastic Man. And there's this one moment in there where Batman's thoughts are being portrayed on the page, right? He goes, how much of his mind still there? Because apparently Plastic Man had been in this captive energy thing for a long, long time. How much of his mind still there? Does he still have his faculties? Because the reality is, Batman says this, one of the greatest line ever. And remember, he had Flash there with him. He was there. He had a bunch of other, and Batman says this, in worrying about how they're about to release Plastic Man, Batman has this thought bubble that says, because he could kill us all easily. So while we all think of Plastic Man as this fun, blah, 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 he's very powerful.
His powers are terrifying when you think about it.
Terrifyingly powerful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is something I could totally see James Gunn getting. Again, not a foundational thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it's coming in the announcement.
We'll get to that. We'll get to Etrigan. We'll get to the Dark Justice Society or just Dark Justice League. We'll have all those things. But for now, you're going to see your typical heroes, but done properly.
Guys, question is for you. James Gunn has said we are going to get the first parts of this new DC roadmap announcement coming this month. That could be tomorrow. That could be today. That could be a week from now, whatever. But it's coming this month. What sorts of things are you expecting to hear coming out of his mouth there? I think what we can expect is the foundational characters. So does Chris. What do you think? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.